the fact that the characters are LGBTQ plus is not. It's not the big thing about the movie, is it? It's just beautifully woven in.
I always just describe it as it's two best friends falling in love, and that can happen to anyone. So to be able to be a part of that, where it's just natural, and we've just got natural chemistry, and we just really got along as well. It was so fantastic, and it didn't have to be doom and gloom. It was just a celebration of two young lads.
Yeah, and you feel good after watching it. Like
good.
I found myself smiling through most of it, which is great. It's great to welcome in a fantastic guest because I've been watching you all this week. Hello, Samuel Small. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So let's just reset. So Bonus Track is on Sky. It's one of those movies that they've been playing out every ad break like for the last couple of weeks. I finally got around to watching it this week. It's set in, correct me if I'm wrong, set in 2006.
Yep.
Tell me about the premise of the story.
So it's about a boy at school called George who feels as though he doesn't really fit in. He's kind of struggling academically. But then when the son of a famous musical duo called Max, who I play,
which is me,
comes and joins his school and starts giving him loads of attention, they form a bond and start working on a piece of music together and form a really beautiful relationship. And it was an amazing experience.
You said you actually recorded this. You made it a couple of years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we made it 2 years ago.
How's that been, kind of like sitting on it thinking, when is this movie?
It's been absolute torture because we made it and then we had to have a break and then do some pickup days, and then we premiered it last year at London Film Festival, and getting to see it then was great, and the reaction then was great. But then we had to wait a whole 10 months for it to come out. It's just been torture, but for it to be out now and for everyone to be able to see it, and the response to it has been fantastic, so it's definitely worth the wait.
And tell me off if this is unfair, this review, okay, but when I saw it and I looked at it, I thought it's very much in the same kind of tense as Heartstopper. It's like a movie version, but it's got all the beautiful aspects that we've seen over the last couple of years of Heartstopper, coming of age, just the whole LGBTQ plus your subject matter is treated normally. It's not a big deal. It's just tell me about it. What did you think when you first read the script?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's a huge compliment, obviously, but I read the script and immediately loved all the characters that are involved in it, and especially the musical aspect that comes along with it. And I knew when I read it that it was definitely something I wanted to be a part of. Did my audition for it, had like a 2-month waiting period where they just didn't say anything, and then had a recall for it where I read with about 5 or 6 different boys auditioning to play George, and then again was left in the dark for another 2 months, and then found out I got it, and being on board was just an immediate yes. And I was so thrilled to have been trusted to lead a project alongside the amazing Joe, which was such an honour, and it was a fantastic experience to do.
What stuff had you done before this movie?
So I'd done a lot of theatre when I was a kid. I did some of the West End stuff. I was in Matilda when I was 13.
Amazing.
And then I did a CBBC programme called So Awkward from 15 to 17. And then I did a BBC One drama which came out at the start of the pandemic, which was called The Nest, which was a massive change, going from kids TV to having to be in an adult drama and have real problems.
That must be
and
quite
real
a leap.
stakes. Yeah, it was really challenging because as I was saying, my character had stakes and there were things that were at risk, and I was acting in a different accent in a different country, and it was a massive challenge, but one that you wish for. And to come straight out of college and to go and spend 3 months in Scotland with Martin Compston and these amazing actors, it was just fantastic.
And some amazing things. So is it true Josh O'Connor wrote this film? Is that true?
So Josh O'Connor made the story, and then his childhood friend Mike Gilbert wrote it, and they kind of collabed on it, and then Josh O'Connor makes a sneaky little cameo in it, which was great.
That's so cool. I mean, obviously his career is completely blown up.
I know, he's having a moment.
He is a huge star, and also, spoiler alert, there's a bit of Ollie Alexander in it as well, so tell me about that.
So when I got the script, I knew that there was going to be this musical element, and at the end, I was going to have to sing a song, and I didn't know who it was. And then when I got the job, and a week before I went, I found out that it was going to be a song by Ollie Alexander called "A Very Bad Fun Idea." And then I got sent the song, and throughout the whole summer we were all listening to it, and because obviously I had to sing it, I was singing it loads and loads and loads of times. It was stuck in all of our heads. But we couldn't sing it, and we couldn't play it, and we couldn't listen because it wasn't out yet.
Right.
So it was our summer anthem before it kind of came out, and it's such an amazing song. And to have the opportunity to sing it in this film was very daunting, but amazing at the same time.
Question I've got for you then: could you sing before this film?
Well, I grew up singing, and I grew up going to like Saturday drama schools where I'd sing, and then I was on the West End, so I had some singing training. But your voice is a muscle, and if you don't train it, you kind of lose it.
Right.
So I hadn't sang for about 3 years leading up to it, and me and Julia and Chris Hyson, we met on like a random Tuesday in January last year. We're like, right, we're just going to spend 5 hours and we're going to do it. Had no training, had no warm up, just kind of did it. And I think that was the best way, because I was so nervous about it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out.
One of the things I was going to say to you is, watching the movie, the fact that the characters are LGBTQ plus is not, it's not the big thing about the movie, is it? It's like, it's just beautifully woven in. It's a story about school, about life, isn't it?
Yeah, I always just describe it as it's two best friends falling in love, and that can happen to anyone. So to be able to be a part of that, where it's just natural, and we've just got natural chemistry, and we just really got along as well. It was so fantastic, and it didn't have to be doom and gloom. It was just a celebration of two young lads.
Yeah, and you feel good after watching it. Like, I found myself smiling through most of it, which is great. Congratulations, because I was saying to Bradley Wishes from Heartstopper earlier, if I'd had stuff like this to watch when I was at school, it would have been a complete game changer, because you watch this movie, you're invested, you love the characters. It's not a massive thing. I'm sure so many people will see this and go, oh, that person's like me. So you probably don't realise how much good you've done by being in this film and making such a lovely movie. So listen, well done. It's great to meet you.
Thank you.
All the best. Come back and see us soon
Of
on
course.
Virgin Radio Pride. Samuel Small, thank you.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Virgin Radio.